Hello, viewers. God bless you. My name is Glory Remedios. I'm the senior pastor of the Excellent God Ministry. Welcome to our e-channel. Today we have a very important subject to discuss, something that have to do with our nation, Nigeria. Last 2 weeks ago, we have a very important guest in our midst. Some of us we are familiar with him. His name is Reverend Dr. Livingston, which is also eyeing the seed of the first citizen of Nigeria. I'm talking about dreaming and having a desire to contest for the upcoming election in the year 2023. So today is a privilege to have him again. We have some me, my co-host today, a man that I love so much. Is He was with us 2 weeks ago as well. All right, Victor, it's good to have you in the house. Good to have you.
Thank you very much, Pastor Glory. It's a pleasure to be here.
Hello, it's good to have you, Victor. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you very clearly. Thank you for having me here. It's great to be here.
Victor is a telecom consultant and he's based in Dakar. It's an honor to have you in Excellent God TV live today.
It's a pleasure
Before
once
I
again.
introduce you're welcome. Before I introduce um, our guest speaker tonight, I have our sister here, a friend, and she was also with us last 2 weeks ago in the person of Emma Francis. Emma, it's good to have you.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here tonight with you
You're
guys.
welcome. And our guest tonight is Reverend Dr. Livingstone Emeni, which is one of the presidential aspirants of the Republic of Nigeria. Doctor, it's good to have you.
Thank you. You're very much welcome.
All right,
Viewers,
viewers.
yes, thank you.
Okay.
That's
All
good.
right, viewers. I want you to relax and get ready to. If you have any questions, please put it down. We have a lot to discuss tonight. I will want to hand over this section to Victor Richwash to take over as my co-host.
Thank you very much, Pastor Glory. Just as I said earlier, I'm glad to be here with you again. And to our guests, it's great having you here again. We had a very robust discussion the last time, and I hope today's session is going to be very engaging as well. And to our sister, we welcome you as well. Hello, everyone, viewers all over the world. I want to use this great opportunity to welcome you all to this great program. And I thank you for being with us on this particular episode. Without much ado, would like to call on Sister Ima to please start this session with prayers. Thank you.
Thank you. In Jesus' name we pray.
Amen.
Amen.
Father Lord, as we start this show, be the guide of our discussions. Let your Holy Spirit direct us,
Amen.
because what we are going to talk about is what we want to explore, and that it would be beneficial and also grow us to plant seed that will help to deliver our country, Nigeria, in
Thank
much ways. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
you.
Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Amen.
Thank you
That
for
was
that
very
prayer.
powerful. Thank you very
That's
much.
strong.
Uh,
I think God has answered already.
Amen. Amen. That is true. All right. Thanks so much, everyone, for being part of this program.
Amen.
It's going to be an engaging event, as usual. We have here our big brother, all the way from Texas, United States, in the person of a, uh, Reverend Dr. Livingston. So, uh, without wasting our time, we have to start the program by you know engaging on some of the problems that we are having in our country. We have highlighted them already. The last time we discussed some of them, but this time around we are going to dissect into most of this topic that we've already highlighted in our last episode. So first and foremost, let's start with the electoral reform bill, which has been as transmitted to the executive for assent. In my opinion, Doctor, this is an important bill aimed to build public confidence in our electoral system. What are your expectations, especially at this point in time when we are approaching an election here?
Thank you so much. I've been researching a lot about the very philosophy of democracy, which began with the Greek and was adopted by the Romans. And they have this sublime, unconscious, transmission of the fact that there are some people who are created to rule, and others are meant to be slaves or servants. And these are the thoughts that has been penetrating our Western education for more than 1,000 years. And that what gives rise to the thought that some people think they are stakeholders and they are elites. And I want to come against that completely, because that is against God's philosophy of creating human beings. All of us are created to rule. Man was created to rule. We are not created to dominate any other human being, but to provide leadership and guidance and coordinate, so that every one of us will rule in certain particulars based on your gifts. We are supposed to use our gift to serve other people. But this came out of our Western education. There are some people are created with the natural ability to lead. But I want to debunk that idea. All of us are created to lead, because all of us have various giftings. There are things I can do very well, and there are things my brother, can do very well. So even in the family of five, we have certain people that have gifts to do certain things, and all of us are supposed to be leading in certain particulars. So I want to give that background before I begin to deal with the legislation that is going on. In my own opinion, I believe that the leaders or the politicians are hired by the common people. So in my opinion, I believe that it should be direct primary, because if you choose the fact that it's going to be, uh, um, indirect or consensus, you are not giving a general opinion you are not giving opportunity for the people who are actually going to vote to make a decision on who leads them. Okay, so I want to say the very concept of that idea is a part of a hand down philosophy by the Greek and the Greco-Roman philosophy. All right, they are the one who developed this concept of democracy. But even in their midst, this is what they decide. The people should decide who governs them. Okay, so in my opinion, I feel direct primary is the best. Are you hearing me?
Yeah, we are.
Is everybody hearing me now? Okay, good.
Yeah.
So I just want to stop at that point so that we can have enough time to deliberate on others. Oh, I'm not hearing Brother Victor. Is Victor on the line? I'm not hearing you again.
No, we are not hearing you, bro, Victor.
We're
Okay.
not hearing you, Brother
Yeah,
Victor.
we can hear you now.
Okay, great. So as I was saying, sorry
Yes.
for the interruption. The position of the president has not changed. He's not actually saying that direct primary should be jettisoned. He's just
Okay.
saying that the gap should be widened and make it open, that other options can also be adopted, giving the political parties the use their discretion to decide what model of primaries should be used as according to the circumstance in place. For instance, a direct primary can be used in a particular state, in another state consensus, it depends. So what the president is saying is that he doesn't want the process to be locked in one process, which I also agree with him at some point.
I
Anyway,
agree.
this is actually what we are going to look at in the course of the discussion, because I also have a challenge in this regard. In my opinion, the election is so enormous. Worst of it is that the people who are driving the reform process are mostly people I will refer to as political entrepreneurs. This is
Yes.
actually one of the problems I'm having in the system, which I believe is part of what, as we are discussing this particular instances, we will delve into it deeply. Why do I need to say this? Looking at the situation on ground of our country, you understand that political elites, most of them have been traditional rulers in quotes, so they want to stay in power. They will make every possible decision to ensure that they stick into power. So that is my challenge in this regard. But I still want you to highlight other expectations from this bill, because a lot of Nigerians are waiting to see a different country, a different political direction occasioned by this the reform that we are about to have in our political situation.
In my opinion, I feel that what the president is doing is right now. He has given a leeway because, believe it or not, we are still young democracy. We are still democracy with feeding bottle in our mouth. Okay, so we're still growing. So, in my opinion, I feel the president assenting to this bill is correct, giving a leeway so that some political parties, can maneuver and make decisions. But the problem is that some political party are going to commit a political suicide. Why do I say that? Because they're going to use a consensus in some regard, and then they're going to pick up a candidate that the masses will reject. Okay, so and then they will commit a political suicide. and the other people may be able to pick a candidate that is good, which I believe is right, because now you give people the opportunity to make their decision. If you pick a candidate that I know that the people know that is not good and it's not relating with them, they make their decision and they will just move to another party or move to another political party. So I think that would be best. In my own opinion, I believe what if the president assent to this bill, is good for the nation.
Yes, of course, it will widen the the participation in our political system. But you've just answered part of the question I wanted to raise in this
Okay.
regard, because looking at our system entirely, we know very well that the new bill will not automatically solve our electoral problems. But one thing is certain: the financial autonomy to INEC to have fun released at least a year before the election will facilitate the effective delivery of the entire process of our election. What do you think in this regard?
Yeah, I think that would be the best thing. The autonomy of INEC should not be debated upon. They should be given absolute autonomy to make the decision, because they are the electoral officer of the nation. They are the one, if you will, they are the teachers who will mark fail or pass. So I want to say that the autonomy of INEC is undebatable. They should be given a free hand to do their job without any political interference.
I think I will bring my sister in, but before I do that, there is another portion of the bill which is I'm having concern with, the area of a campaign window. Before now, campaign window was around 90 days, but this new bill has extended the campaign windows for candidates to about 150 days, which we all know that elections in Nigeria are very expensive. By extending the campaign windows means that you stop your campaign earlier than before. Then doing so will cost a lot of money, which most of these political gladiators who are stolen or looted our country, they have this money to spend. What of people that are just coming afresh? They want to, try their popularity through the ballot. Someone like you, anyway.
Yeah. Well, I believe I want to say this with an undertone: the fact that there's always a divine dimension in everything that that happen in nations. All right. I believe the space that is given is dependent on the logistics. We know that the nation is very big and wide, and is the clumsiness of transportation, moving from one state to the other, moving from. I think I just feel, in my opinion, it's not too long, because compared to where we are now, the country where we are, where you can move from one state to the other within 30 minutes or 1 hour, you'll be in the next state. It's not like that in Nigeria. And some of the places you need to go, they don't have an airport. So I believe, in my opinion, considering the condition in Nigeria and the logistical problems in Nigeria, I think it's fair to give that, space.
Okay, good. Thank you. Another aspect of the bill which I like so much is the power granted to INEC to review elections results declared under questionable circumstances. We are all witness of what happened in Imo State during the last election, when Reuters was denied initially. Okay, it was declared returned and elected. Along the line, the uh, the uh, the INEC official confided in some people that, or he made a public pronouncement that he actually did the declaration under duress. So in this kind of situation, the INEC has the power to overturn such decision once it is established that the decision was taken under a questionable circumstances. That is by the way. So as we are progressing in the discussion, we are actually going to look at some gray areas that we must consider in our system. Firstly, is the economic crisis that we are facing. So before I allow the Reverend to come in here, I just want, this is a kind of this is a forum whereby we've been able to highlight also the problem. So the problem in most cases has been highlighted, but we still need to remind ourselves what is the situation of our economy. So I want to please ask Emma to state his opinion, what he feels about our economy before I will move to Reverend to prove or to give us solution towards some of these things.
Thank you very much, Victor. Well, before the economy, I would say, where do you start? That would be the question I ask myself. Because in all areas that any country actually could have a pointer or a kick, we failed. But before I go into the economy, just listening to Reverend Livingston there, about I don't want to bring us back, but I just want to point out something as well that I think probably is important. I know you spoke about the Greek philosophy there, Reverend Livingston, which you're thinking we are buying that. But I wonder also, especially as you are the presidential aspirant, I mean, I was very much want to support your candidacy, which I am rooting for you. I would love to see that absolutely manifest, and I will come to Nigeria at your inauguration.
Thank
so
you.
I look forward to that.
Yeah.
But have you thought about the mindset that an average Nigerian, especially the Muslim, I'm not talking about Christian or Muslim here, but the fact that they have a mindset or a belief that the Muslim needs to be the ruling power as well. Could that be what is guiding us? Considering that that is so close to home in Nigeria, more so than the Greek philosophy, I'm just thinking it's probably something you might actually want to explore more, okay? Yeah. But I'm going to, you spoke very well, and this bill, I think, is not serving us. It's not going to serve us. I think if I would add one line or two into the real challenge that Nigeria faces in terms of having democracy or achieving democracy. I mean, let's face it, democracy is government by the people for the people. And I totally do agree that the people should then be able to choose who they want to lead them. Yes, yes. But how could that happen when Nigeria starts with what we call zoning? And our main challenge to achieve that democracy is electoral process. Is our electoral process effective? Can we even depend on that to be able to say, okay, if we actually achieve a good candidacy, a quality candidacy, like yourself, can we trust that we have an effective electoral process that would give us the real results that the people voted for? Okay, and of course, that is all before we talk about the zoning. So I think if I'm asked what is a real challenge to that, it's not about the bill. It's not, one of the things that I think Nigeria needs to achieve is at least have a quality, effective process that you can say 10 people voted, 20 people voted. I mean, we've heard stories that they're counting cows and even people who are not Nigerian. So that's a big challenge to our democracy, I think. But okay, going to the economy, I think it's too big if we're talking about economy, Victor. But I think I'm going to touch base that we have absolutely nothing to write home about with our economy. If you start with our budget and our population and compare it to another country, for instance, you see that our budget is very small for our population. At this very moment, $1 in the black market is 565 naira. The last time I checked. And it is 775 naira for pounds, 620 naira for euro. Now, if you bring it that things are so expensive and an average salary, what is it called? A base salary, a minimum wages. That's what we call it here in Ireland. Minimum wages. I think they call it base salary, or there is another name in Nigeria. It's supposed to be 30,000 naira. 30,000 naira. Yet, a lot of states are not able to pay that. And then you compare what they furnish an office for it breaks my heart even thinking about it. Do you know what they furnish an office for? Even a very small politician? How fair is that? No, our economy has nothing to write home about. It is very poor, it is very bad, and Buhari have not done anything about it, and people are suffering. We've seen that the prices of goods are constantly going, and to top it up, and worse, he's borrowing. So I think we can be very specific about what area to talk about economy, because in general, there is nothing to write home about. And Buhari hasn't changed, or Buhari's government hasn't changed. So what can be done? I think we can target the fact that we can at least reduce the inflation. How? Maybe Reverend Livingston can certainly share with us what he would look at because I know the last time, Reverend Livingston, you said you do not want to speak about what you would do, but I think you can actually speak about what you would like to see happen.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Sister Emma. I actually wanted you to highlight the problem so that I will put the question directly to the presidential hopeful. Yes.
Yes.
So we have this information from the Bureau of Statistics. You know, Nigeria economic, the way it is now, the situation of Nigeria has deteriorated significantly. Our inflation as at 2021 is about it's over 15%, which is hyperinflation. Then Nigeria extended its negative trade balance in the first half of 2022. As I speak with you, our trade balance deficit is around 5 point something trillion, which is not something we should be talking about. So I want the Reverend to please tell us what is his plan to change the curve of the economic situation we are facing in such a way that within a short period of time, if he is elected by the people to lead the country, we will see a positive trend in that regard. Please tell us, what do you have to offer in this regard? You may just point it in the high level information. You may not go into details.
Okay. So basically, I want to say this. Nigeria is suffering from mismanagement. Okay. There's a lot of resources in the country. And because those who are managing is either I think the basic word is mismanaging. Now, I heard from a reservoir engineer in Nigeria who worked with the Shell company, with the mobile company, that one of the blessings God has blessed Nigeria is with oil. There's no reason why we cannot translate our oil and gas to produce electricity 24 hours in the nation. Why have we not been able to do this? Because we lack the political will on somebody who make a decision to be able to direct Nigeria to be able to do this. A country like Nigeria that has enormous production of oil cannot have light 24 hours. I will tell you that is still a big problem. So the major problem I find in Nigeria is mismanagement. This is one of the ways I'm going to approach it. First of all, in agriculture, we have two major seasons, the dry and the wet season. And when you drive through Nigeria, you see green vegetation. That you don't need any fertilizer to fertilize the land in some of the areas we have in Nigeria. We have the natural swamp that can transmit water and for plantation and other stuff. So basically, I want to say that when the righteous man is on the throne, the people will rejoice. And somebody that has a relationship with God and is able to use the wisdom of God to direct the nation will flow in the positive direction. So in my own opinion, one of the first ways to tackle Nigerian economic situation is Nigeria will start producing what they are eating and stop importing things from outside the country. And number two, we have Nigerian in every field of human education and endeavor and training for Nigeria to be able to manufacture things themselves. Now, I want to go back to China. Okay, what happened to China 20 years ago, or even more than 30 years ago? Okay, China was not where China is today. And most of the things they have today, they borrow it from the Japanese. They borrow it from the Japanese. All right, okay. Now, this is what the Chinese did. Chinese negotiated with the Japanese and they told them, I said, look, listen, we have the population and you have the technology. We will never buy your stuff until you bring your technology to our own land, okay? Use our own people, develop your technology in our own land, employ our own people, and then before we buy your things. So the Japanese had no choice. So they moved into China. Now let me take clothing, for instance. Most of the wares we are having today comes from China. So the Chinese now open up a factory, cloth making factory, link it with the university. Okay, so linking this with the university, they start training the Chinese to make clothes and do all the technology, manufacturing, and all that. And after they've done that, they fire the Japanese, and took over their industries. That's what the Chinese did. That they are now controlling, making major production and export today. We can do that in Nigeria also. We can do that. Okay, Sister Ima Bong, I believe you have a beautiful hair right now. Okay, that your hair is beautiful. Is that right? Correct. The product you use for your hair, the raw material is from Nigeria. The raw material for your hair is from Nigeria. Now, the Chinese take the raw material to China and produce the hair, and they now sell it back to Nigeria and all the black people all over the world. Okay. Now, can we do that? Yes. We can do it. Now, I'm just giving you a little hint of something we can do to turn around the economy of Nigeria. Now, I was listening to the Minister for Transportation. Okay. talking about the loan they borrow from China. I think we have people who are smarter. I'm not saying the guy is not smarter, but I think we have people who are smarter in economic and business and detail of dealing with loans than that guy. He came on the national television and said, oh, well, the Chinese have already structured the loan. We have no choice to accept what they do. That is baloney. If you're taking a loan, a national loan for a nation, we need experts who understand how to structure loan to get involved. And that's what Ngozi Iweala was doing for Nigeria. But because of politics, they push her away. So in my own opinion, I want to say that Nigeria has what it takes. All that we need is a manager. I don't claim to know everything, but all that Nigeria needs is leadership, ability to find the right people to do the right job. Okay? And that is what I call leadership 101. That's what Obasanjo did a little, to go and bring in Ngozi Iweala from the World Bank to come and manage the economy. All right? We have Nigerians all over the world with all the skills. So my business as the president of Nigeria, which I will be by the grace of God, is to go look for Nigerians anywhere, and those who have expertise in all the field, which I believe we have Nigerians expert in almost all the field, and recognize that every man is created to lead, and give them the opportunity to use their expertise to help Nigeria.
Okay.
So I want to say that Nigeria has a solution to Nigerian problem.
Thank you very much,
Thank you.
Reverend Livingston. We actually have one of our brothers by name David Iyokwa is part of this conversation. So he has a question for you. Hello, David. Good evening and nice to have you on this program. Can you hear me? Hello, David.
I don't think it's there. Okay, try again.
I think he's frozen.
Yeah, it's frozen a little bit.
Okay, I think we'll come back to that when we eventually get him. Thank you, Reverend Livingston. You've spoken well. Just as I said earlier on, the information we need from you is just the high level information, of which you have said everything. You are going to get people the able hands from the country and ensure that you provide leadership to drive the process, which is actually what a reasonable person should do. But I also have
We miss you.
Hello, David. Are you there now?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you for tuning in, David Iyawakwa. It's great to have you here. So I understand that you have a question for
Thank you.
Reverend Livingston. So please, can you go ahead with your question?
Okay. I'm happy to be in this because it happens to be my country. I am based in France. Sorry, my network might be very crazy because we are having a windstorm here. So it's a bit crazy. But I know, can you hear me?
Yes,
Very clear.
Okay. Please, I can't see people. I don't know if it's from my screen.
We are seeing you.
We are seeing you very well.
Oh, you see? Okay, better. If you can see me, I'll it. Provided you can see me, and I can see you, but it's okay.
And you are
okay.
Good.
Okay. Nigeria is a great country, and I'm proud to be one. And an Oron man is coming up with this dream, because the last Oron man that tried this dream was Dr. Idaramana, where he came up with this dream. And when he came up with the dream of being a president, there are some things he had laid down in Oron and Akwa Ibom. He was available to people. But Mr. President to be, you are from Oron. I have like 3 questions for you, if I'm permitted.
Please go ahead.
What is your dream? What is your plan towards your own people? Have you done anything that your people can rise and celebrate you and introduce you to Nigeria as their own son that wants to represent the nation? Have you done some things that people in Oron, I'm starting with Oron, could feel your impact and know that this one is our son? Can Oron people use the word, "This is my beloved son, in whom I'm well pleased"?
Well pleased.
Because at this point, it's dramatic, and a lot of things come up. And we are in a Western world. I'm living in France, and we are having our elections. So I've seen what they are doing here. I see the dream of Emmanuel Macron towards us that are even immigrants. And it's something that is a nice plan.
Okay.
So I don't want to start with Nigeria as a whole. I'm asking, can Oron people, can Akwa Ibom people, I'm from Oron, Ewioro, Ekwila, Elrela, Ero, this is my beloved son, Oyi, in whom I'm well pleased.
Okay.
Then can all Ibibio people, Akwa Ibom, announce you and say, "This is my beloved son"? I know being beloved son was not something Jesus was wearing on the clothes, on the body. He was a normal person who came for the baptism. So I want to ask you that question. Have you done something that Oron people can say, "Let our son go," and they will support you? At least Oron people. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let me begin by answering. Thank you for that question. I wish, sometimes I ask myself, I wish I had a dream. Why didn't God let me know this ahead of time, that I am going to be the president? I was born, let me say born, to be the president. All right. I discovered these, to be precise, 2017. Okay. Which I want you to take me to it, and I also want you to apply that to your life. I thought I would be a normal person doing my normal thing as a pastor, just going my way, doing my own thing. And by the grace of God, if you go to Oron, where I come from, Emeny's family in particular, they all know that I got involved in Christianity when I was 17 years old. Okay, so my entire life has been SU, what we call SU. I've been around there. Okay, until I transitioned into working briefly with external affairs after my high school, and then I had the call into the ministry, and then I got involved in the ministry. And my first pastorate was Warri, and to the glory of God, I was involved in the inauguration of the Lu Otuwashe II, the Lu of Warri. That was my first engagement in political, what do you call it, in the public sphere, where I have to make a decision as a pastor whether a culture of 500 years old can be tampered with or rearranged by supporting somebody that was of a Christian persuasion. You understand? So that's what introduced me to the kind of public life I have. So if you go, the Olu of Warri, Otuwashe the third now, was 4 years old when I make a decision to support his father to become Otuwashe II. All right. So my name is in the history of somebody who has to take a stand on what is right and what is righteous. So I was minding my business until this came my way. That I needed to ask God a question, which is the question I believe everybody should ask God. At any point in life, you ask God a question: who am I? Why am I here? And where am I going? So I had that kind of intimate discussion with the Lord, and this is what I hear from the Lord. I'm saying this is a public forum. All right. I crafted you out of my being and prepared you to become the president of Nigeria. I heard that 2017. Okay. And that caused a lot of things around my family. Okay. The first person to oppose it was my wife. He said, okay, you've never been in politics. Nobody knows you. Okay. I remember my uncle called me and said, nobody knows you. Why are you? I said, well, I wish, I knew that earlier. So I started. And all the questions people ask me, I go back to God and ask God a question. I say, why are you putting me in there? I mean, understand that. I am like David of old, who was busy taking care of the sheep. Okay? All right? I can relate with David. All he knew about his life was a sheep, and a shepherd. That's it. I am a pastor dealing with people. I mean, Pastor Glory knows that. All right, that's all that I was doing is ministry. I never told them I'm going to
Oh,
become politician. All right.
thank you very much, Reverend Livingston. David, thanks for your question. I think just for now, let's leave the two other questions. We'll come back to it because of the discussion. So
Okay.
I
All
want you
right.
to
Okay.
be actively involved in the program so that probably some of the questions that you may want to ask can be addressed in the course of the discussion. So I didn't
Okay.
want to actually make this forum to look like, have a regional undertone. I am an
Okay.
Oron person also. So most of us here are from Oron, that is why I don't actually go into asking questions relating to what have we done in our locality and all of that. We are all Nigerians. That is the most important thing. So I think this question
Great.
that you've just asked, I'm going to ask it in a different way. I will put it to Reverend to
Yeah.
actually tell us what he plans to do. Nigeria
Okay.
is a heterogeneous society with
Yeah.
over 250 ethnic groups. And as we know currently, the country is so divided along
Mm-hmm.
ethnic lines, religions,
Religion.
and what have you. So at this point, we actually need somebody who will be able to bring all the aggrieved citizens together and bring back the unity that used to exist
Yeah.
within us. So, what is your plan to strengthen our diverse our unity, especially in this trying time? And don't forget, there is something I actually wanted to say. You know, we understand in as much as we try not to undermine divine direction and all of that. Sometimes divine calling may tarry. It may not just be immediate as we may think. Take, for instance, when God spoke to Abraham that he was going to have Isaac, he was speaking as if it's just going to happen the next day. But in the context of the scripture, we know how many years it took from when God spoke to him to when it came to manifest. So I just leave that. Let Prof tell us how is he going to foster our unity back again.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Before our presidential aspirant or hopeful say something, the question that Brad Victor from France asks is a very, very important question. I never even
Yeah,
planned.
David.
Sorry, David. Very important question, and I would like
Of course, it is.
because
Of
the
course.
last time we have things like this, some media company contact me that we are just joking here, that we should ask him tough question and he has to answer it. You understand? Livingston is my big uncle, and I'm not here to disgrace him, but we have to, ruling in Nigeria is not something we have to do data. You understand? We have to be tough with him and let him tell us his plan for Nigeria. Like they say, charity begins from home. So Victor, David, my brother from France, I never know that he's going to ask such question. I never planned for it. So I would like him because Oron Nation people are watching everything. We have Oron
Of course.
Nation Facebook group, which is over 30,000 followers in that Facebook group, and I believe they are also watching. So I would like Reverend Doctor Livingston, which is a presidential hopeful, to answer that question. Very, very important question. What have you done in the Oron Nation? What impact? So it's a very important question. Please, sir, just straight to the point, what you have done.
Okay.
Because I believe God cannot use a man without experience. God always uses a man with experience. Thank you, sir.
All right. Let me start from the first one, from the last.
Victor, can you mute your mic, please? Because there's a noise in the background.
There's a lot of noise in somewhere.
Yeah.
Let me begin with the question experience. Okay, let me start with the word experience to move it forward. All
Okay.
right, and then I will be able to deal with that. I want to say experience is a poor teacher. Experience is a poor teacher because there is nobody that has an experience to rule a nation. You don't. You may be successful in one corner doing something, but when you come into the leadership of presidency, you have to learn to think on your feet. For instance, there is no president in the world that had an experience with coronavirus. So there are things that are going to happen that you must be somebody who is creative and can think on your feet. Now, we have an experience in America here, somebody who was successful in business, supposedly successful in business. And he thought being successful in business would translate into being successful as a president. Now, I leave that story for another time. So, in my own opinion, I want to debunk the theory of experience. Okay, because most people that are successful in life are people without experience. There are people that are able to tap into what I call the fourth dimension and think creatively. The world now needs creative leaders, not people with so-called experience. Take, for instance, if you have studied a book on economics, even 6 months ago, you can apply it today. Okay, so I want to suspend the very idea of experience. So those who will be hearing this program, I want them to understand that you debunk the very concept of experience and find creative leaders who can think on their feet. All right. Now let's go back to what are you going to do? I want to summarize into you haven't done this, but this is what you're going to do. Now, in my observation, I stayed in Europe, in England for 5 years, stayed in America for 20 something years. I've observed how democracy works. What makes people ready to die for their country is the fact I have children here, I have a daughter here in America. What makes these children fall in love with their country? And I discover is because the country has invested in them. And that's why they prefer to die for a country that has invested in their life. So I want to begin a new paradigm in Nigeria. Most of us may not enjoy the what will happen when I become, because I'm trying to shift a lot of things. First of all, is to debunk the Greco-Roman philosophy of leadership and begin to teach every young child to love their country. And this is what I'm going to do for the children. I've said this before. I've already set up an organization called Nigerian Economic and Social Service Initiative. All right. And what will that do? That will be an organization that I want to use executive order. If I'm the president, to use executive order and write, make a rule, use executive order to make an order that every child born into the country from age 1 to age 10 to have free bread, free milk, free honey, and egg. Every child. How are you going to do that? Now we get into agriculture. All right? And give women, I want to say this, you're letting me come out strong. I know, let me just say, because I'll say I know that. I know that women would take at least 60% of contracts in Nigeria when I'm the president. Why?
That's a nice one.
All the
Nice.
I remember that my mother was supplying, I used to carry what you call pumpkin to go and deliver at the local TTC. My mother was supplying vegetable to a central feeding school in Nigeria. And that's what my mother did to contribute to my education. Now, let me say this. God reminded me that. Okay? So, if women are involved in agriculture, supplying food, and making sure that our children are fed from age 1 to age 10, we have free bread, free milk, free honey. Hear this. I'm going to build into a social structure that has never existed in Nigeria. And that will give every child a sense of belonging in the nation when they are growing up. And when these children grow up, they're going to fall in love with the nation. Okay? That has never been done. And I want to say, it has never been done anywhere. And this is what I got from the fourth dimension. All right, I've seen your hand. Hold it, hold it, hold it. I've seen your hand. So with this, it's going to be the whole nation. I want to say this. When I was talking about this some time ago, one young girl in the village just told me, he said, Mr. President, this can be done. This can be done in Nigeria. We have a lot of money wasted in the country. Okay? If we do this to begin to take care of the growing Nigerians, everybody will have a sense of belonging in that country. All right? So let me just leave it there. I don't want to sell my idea to others. Let me keep it before people steal it. All right? Because some people can steal an idea and they don't know how to execute it. That's what happened. All right. I saw your hand.
David is very eager to speak.
Yes. All right, go ahead.
The problem I like describing myself so that people like when people are dealing with me, I take a lot of things off. I always tell people, when you see someone at this age keeping a dread hair, you should know that the person there are a lot of things that is running in my mind, and they are coming into leading my country, my own country. You live in America, I live in France. We live in a Western world, and our standard in the Western world is different. One of the things I want you to be very careful as an aspirant is comparison and name calling. It will hold you because the species are going to play back. I asked a very simple question, sir, because I have 3 good questions for you. I want to repeat. The first question I asked, charity begins at home, sir. I mentioned Dr. Amana because I know Dr. Amana is a renowned Oron man, and is a renowned Oron man in Nigeria. And he did 1 or 2. Methodist Church in Eubia is built by Amana, and is one beautiful edifice that he fixed there with his own fund. You are coming to a country that we have so much intelligent people. You are staying in America. This is one of the problems I always have with people who agitate Biafra when they are staying in a Western world. This is where I have a lot of problems because they set fire.
Are you asking a question?
I'm coming.
A question you want me to
I'm
answer?
pushing.
Okay.
Yes, there's a question. I'm throwing a light so that, no, I'm throwing a light so that you give me a concrete. You're not giving me, you're giving the world, because this is recorded. It's going to be added in your profile. This is recorded. This is international. We are talking about a great country, not a village. So I've seen in France, a woman just slapped the president in France, and nothing was done. Nothing was done. But in Nigeria, we can't do that. So I want to be free, sir. I want to be free with you because you are heading our country. You are not one village. We are talking about Nigeria. People sit down and we agitate Biafra for people in Nigeria, and they go die in Nigeria while we are secured in America, we are secured in Europe. My house, I don't know, most times I leave my house and I don't lock the door, and my mind is not lifted because I know there is camera watching things around me. Sir, I'm asking one question.
Okay, one.
Question is,
one, let me answer
what have you done in a nation that they can say, this is my beloved son in whom I am well pleased?
Okay.
Like John the Baptist did.
I want
yes, I want that straight answer.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes,
well,
sir.
I'm happy that you quote John the Baptist. So since you quote John the Baptist, I'm going to quote Jesus. All right? Okay. Jesus was called Jesus of Nazareth. Okay? And there was a time that he said, and Jesus actually said, since you quote John the Baptist, so I'm going to quote Jesus. And so Jesus said, a prophet is not recognized in his own town, but is recognized somewhere else. That's why Jesus was called Jesus of Nazareth, not Jesus of Bethlehem. Okay? So I would want to say briefly, it's not here for me to begin to say this. I've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you find out, I'll ask you to go and find out. I have a church, since I'm mentioning a church now. I have a church called the Foursquare Church. Worship in Oran right now. The land where the church is built is my own land. I gave it to the church. All right? And the church does it. That's to let you know. All right? Okay. And there's other things I've done. As I said before, I did not just do something in Oran. I've done something that has gone into the history of Nigeria as I'm talking to you now. Okay? In my own capacity, I wasn't a businessman. I was a pastor. All right? So I am called from pastoring. I do not want to be Amana. Of course, I don't want to be him because God not called me to be Amana. So I cannot compare myself with him. All right? I was busy doing service, not business. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So I've served my country, and I've spoken in conventions, minister at my level. So I have something I can say I have contributed to the changes in Nigeria, and not just in my community, but in Nigeria. So I want to rest that.
Okay. Hello, sir.
Yes.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, I'm here.
Because one of the things I really have problem is like I saw a post from the sitting governor of Akwa Ibom. He said a word that is the face of God to bring out the pastor that he brought. The problem I'm talking about here is that he has brought somebody that he feels is his own.
Okay, I think his network is being challenged, Pastor Glory.
Let's just move it to another subject, not I think we are
Yeah,
talking about the whole Nigeria now, not the state. So let's.
I certainly would be of the same opinion. I think we were actually talking about something that I thought was very engaging and highly so relevant for us here.
Okay.
Yes.
When you
Not
spoke
other.
earlier, something that would be also relevant for people to think about in Nigeria and 2023.
Yes.
And because this doesn't just rest with us. I
Yes.
think we are all very comfortable wherever we are in the West.
Yeah.
Okay. But we also want to have a conversation so that people who are feeling it in Nigeria
Yes.
also, when they engage in this conversation, which is very close to them, and as they're thinking about 2023, if they happen to watch this program, this will also help them to
Give them
actually
thought.
think about,
Yeah.
okay, what can we expect? All
Yes.
right. I mean, I don't know. Victor is offline there. I don't know, Pastor Glory. I know you are a moderator, really, but I think I would like us
Yeah,
to go.
Victor has gone to another location because of the noise in the background. He will soon be
Okay,
back.
all right, that's fine.
Yeah.
Um, I found it very interesting, Reverend Livingston, when you were speaking about the possible solution of to the Nigerian's economy,
Yes.
or to the challenge that we have.
Yes.
I highlighted how Naira is almost worth nothing.
Yes.
I highlighted the fact that even the minimum wage, not a lot of states even pay that. I also highlighted that it is if people have to eat in the same society, whereby you have the politician in 500,000 times more than what, and even for their furnitures,
Mm-hmm.
what sort of a country is that? And if we compare it to what is happening in this Western world,
Yeah.
how can we actually get around that? You pointed out that Nigeria is a very rich country, fine,
Yes.
but the problem is mismanagement. Okay.
Yes.
But then again, down the line, you said we need a good manager. No, and I was so happy to hear you say we need leadership, because that
Yes.
is one of the things that is lacking.
Yes.
But I totally agree with you regarding agriculture.
Yes.
And I love when you said, I'm going to summarize that, the empowerment,
Go
sorry,
ahead. Yeah.
the empowerment of women
Yes.
as a solution. But one thing I need to highlight, and also I think it is something Nigeria is looking at, and they know it is, the oil that we have is not going to be long.
Yeah.
It's not going to be that worth anything. And we can see how Dubai is going about that to bring in another source of funding to themselves. Because in 20 years' time, 30 years' time, that would not be a good source for an income. That's going to phase out. And if Nigeria
Love
is
that.
going to depend as a source of income, the only source of income, which we are wasting all, and we don't even have any refinery, we're not doing, like, we can't even not even go to that. Maybe that's something we can talk about and explore together in another session, because it's a very sad
Yeah,
situation when you see what is happening to
we,
Nigeria. But I want to bring up
we
something that I think I would have wanted to hear you highlight about, especially when you brought about Japan and China.
Yes.
Okay? The main thing when you talk about encouraging agriculture
Yes.
and having that we produce what we eat.
Yes.
If we bring all that in, yes, I agree, we produce what we eat. But really, where is our oil money now leaking through? So why are we borrowing so much when we already have so much? I think if I was to actually vote for any candidate today who's taking over power in 2023, I would want to see that person. Look at, if minimum wage is 30,000, it is enforced through, and that our money is leaking because of the fraud, I do not see why the politicians are earning in billions of naira in the same country. It doesn't happen anywhere. It doesn't happen here. You can do your business, but it doesn't happen here. You don't see anybody in the parliament, okay, here in Ireland, for instance, earning so much money. You can do that in your business. If we're talking about government, I would like to see a whole money, a pay cut in salary, okay? That is scratched. If we're going to build our economy, anybody who is earning 1 billion, for instance, in a year is going to earn 100,000.
Yes.
If we can address that in the first place, I think we can address the borrowing.
Okay.
So it's how they are able to, in the Western world, to sustain their resources in the first place, is to actually make sure this money is not ending in politicians' hand.
Okay.
If we have 1 million naira, we distribute that resources because we are wasting. We are burning the money in Nigeria, the oil money that we have now. So I think we can drop all these wastages.
Yeah.
And if that can be addressed for a start, so in other words, a new candidate, a new president, yourself, Reverend Livingston,
Yes.
you come in and you bring in whatever is required legislation. I mean, everybody drop their money and call a pay cut.
Yeah.
And then you put that money into economy. Then you can look at agriculture, empowering women, like you said, producing what we eat. A few years ago, I was in Nigeria, and we know gari is one of our basic food.
Yes.
But what happened? 1 cup of naira that every single one of us can produce. I can produce gari from the start, from cultivating the cassava to making it into gari. I can do that.
Yes.
Why is such a basic food so expensive? Why can't we cultivate it? Because everybody wants to be a politician.
Yeah.
And this is our basic food, and it is very expensive.
Yeah.
So I would then look into, I will cut these salaries and bring it into our economy,
Yes.
invest in the agricultural section,
Yes.
empower women, and of course, make us to produce what we eat, even a basic food. You know,
Excellent.
it will reduce the importation. It might then address the inflation, and maybe it might actually stop devaluing our money. Our currency might grow. But all these basic things, why is it not being done?
Okay. Yeah, I'll answer that briefly, so we can move on. Imabong, it's well said, and the question, the statement is well, constructed. Here is what is happening in my own estimation and evaluation. A, a politician now have a basic, the ruled and the subject mentality, which is not even practiced in the Western world where we are. Okay. So I want to reserve a lot of comment, but I know what is in my heart when I get there. We are not supposed to have a politician any more than a professor.
Of course. Absolutely.
It's not done anywhere.
No.
Okay. All right. So these are the things I'm going to deal with. All right. I would say this one thing, like Otuwashe the second, Uluwawari said. He said this to me, say, Pastor, let my wife or the people agreed grudgingly, and let me take the sword of office and the kingdom will be good. All right. So I want to say, let the masses, those who will be hearing this, just give me a chance and accept me grudgingly. All right. And let me get to what I believe I was called to do. Now, I want to make this very, very clear. I will never do a thing in my life until I have a sense of calling. And a sense of calling is followed with a sense of compassion and passion for it. If you know somebody who is called to do something, it has a sense of passion and compassion for what it's called to do, and has a vision to do what it's called to do. Why do I say that? Because you can go back to my parents, my younger brothers, my brothers, the family I brought up. They knew the same feeling I have now was a feeling and a passion I had when I broke out of my pure science students and become a pastor. I was a pure science student. Okay. So that's what broke me out of that and made me and begin to train me as a pastor. I want to tell you, to the glory of God, I have the best education of leadership and I'm well equipped. I have touch with the source of the honor of the earth, all right, in order to govern the country. As I said, you cannot be anything successful until you were called to be, all right? So, imagine what you are putting across is something that is in my heart. I just want to drop a little thing there that it's not good in any economy for a legislator to earn more than a professor and a research officer who has spent his entire life doing research. That will not happen when I'm the president.
Good.
Okay, I just want to rest that there.
That's very good.
Yeah.
So thank you very much, and sorry for the interruption. I
Yes.
actually had a major outage, so I'm back now. So I believe that Pastor Glory must have taken some of the question that was to be addressed in today's episode of this program. But the issue of inequality is something that we need to look into as a nation. Is one of the problems that we are facing, the problem of inequality. I would like Reverend Livingston to look at this inequality problem in two ways. Number one, economically, some people are challenged. You see,
Yes.
they have the gap between the have and the don't is very wide, which is part of what we have just addressed. That, if, for instance, if you can address the instances of remuneration, like the one you just mentioned, the lecturer, a professor is earning less than a politician, which is not okay in any economy. Then another issue of inequality is that some people are seeing themselves as traditional ruler in the country that belongs to all of us. That is where the issue of nepotism came in. I didn't want to really go into issue of regional affiliation because this is a national discussion we are having. So how do you think you can use your experience in leadership to bridge this gap? Because to be fair to people that are uh, so also they are doing this thing in such a glaring manner is because they will always find this excuse of having their own people to protect their interest and to also having their man Friday around to ensure that nobody will step into take the government away from them. We have seen currently, you can see the northern part of Nigeria has been ruling, people, sensitive position has been assigned to northerners. So as a
Mhm.
nationalist, how
Yes.
do you think you can correct this? Because to me, is not fair to every other region. People are glamoring. This can also be part of the problems we are having.
Mhm.
That people are they are seeing themselves as a second class citizen.
Mhm.
So How do you intend to address this challenge?
Okay. It may interest you to know that um, the movement for my presidency is stronger in the north than in the south. And the whole thing is spearheaded by an Alaji who has a personal contact with me. As I'm speaking now, he's doing the consultation. He's the one who prints my poster and starts distributing over 1,000 copies of my picture. I didn't tell him to do it. He's somebody that just said, I have printed 1,000 copies of your picture. And I'm meeting all the people that matters in the north and telling them this man, this reverend from America is the right person to take over from Buhari. Okay. There's an adage in a Bible, say when God does something, it looks like God has done it. Okay. It looks like every Rabateranam. Okay. Well, this is I relax on the fact that this is not a personal ambition. In fact, I hate the word ambition. I accept the word calling. Okay, but what ambition has to do with you projecting yourself. All right, but this is a calling. And if you study history, those who are led, who lead, are those who get into leadership reluctantly. And those are not those who aspire to be there. Study history, you find out that. We can see that in the life of Gowon. Gowon was pushed into power, not because he wanted to. All right. So, to go back to that, I have to debunk the basic philosophy that people think that until my brother is in the place, it will not be good for me. It will not be better for me. It's when my brother gets there that it will be better for me. There are occasions that you may even have a brother there and he doesn't do a lot for you. All right. So I want to first of all reorient Nigerian to see Nigeria as a nation, as one nation. Now, this is my first broadcast and declaration as the presidency. I used Nigerian passport to illustrate. You can say anything you say in the country. I can be Yoruba, be Igbo, be Hausa, whatever you are. As soon as you step out of the country, you are called a Nigerian. Why? You have only one passport that represents the country. So whatever you do, they don't say a Yoruba Nigerian, an Igbo Nigerian, Akwa Ibom, Hausa Nigeria. No, they call you a Nigerian. I think we need to drive in that philosophy that if we have chosen and agreed to be a nation, we should be fostering the unity of the nation, except we don't want to. But as long as for now, we're still a nation. So what we'll be doing is to make sure that if you are stepping out to represent Nigeria, you are representing the interest of the entire nation. So I would say that by the grace of God, whichever religion use the word grace of God, some of them don't even understand what the grace means, but they just use it. But when I use the word grace of God, I use it distinctively. I use it with knowledge. I use it with understanding. That the word grace means God's supernatural ability to do things you cannot do naturally. But God break through his grace and his power to do something because the Almighty God rules in the kingdom of men. Whether men believe it or not, God rules in his kingdom. He owns the earth. And he chooses who he wants in power and bring down who he wants. He owns the earth. And that's my philosophy. All right? Others may have different philosophy. But one thing I know, God owns the earth. All right? Because he can pull the plug anytime from you if you don't handle it, his management very well. So I want to say this to answer your question directly, that you just need a leader that has a different philosophy from what we are having, who have an inclusive philosophy. Okay, you have that philosophy before you make it that philosophy before you make it a theological fact. Okay, so that is what is going on. You need a leader with a different philosophy. And my philosophy is every man created by God are equal. Even women. The only difference between man and woman is because women have the womb. That's it. They are created equal. And that is everybody. If you begin to enter the world with that philosophy, you can see that the only thing you have to do differently to distinguish you from the other person is because you have a different gift. And then your leadership skill is to help you identify people with their gifts and coordinate them so that all of them will become leaders in their various field. All right. That's my philosophy. So I'm
Okay.
entering into the government not as a politician, but as a leader.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you very
Because
much.
politicians think about election, but leaders think about the next generation.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you
So
very
I'm
much.
entering into politics with thinking about a generation after us. Because if the generation before us has been thinking the way I'm thinking, we will be better off.
Okay. Thank you for your answer. I would like to put it to you that most of this topic we have been discussing, we'll delve into it probably in another episode, one after the
Okay.
other. What we are doing is just to, brush the surface to understand that these are the problems that we have. We've highlighted them. We have you are providing solution to them in high level, but we'll still come into low level. How common Nigerian will be able to
Victor, please, can you increase your audio,
Yes.
please?
okay, whereby the common Nigeria will understand your manifesto and align with it. So I want to ask you, you based in Texas.
Yes.
From my knowledge, Texas is an oil producing state in the
Yes.
United States. So now, you are from Niger Delta region where we have a lot of issue ranging from resource control challenge, and not just that, the issue of gas flaring, and also the oil spill cleanup that's supposed to come in, manage the hazard. For instance, now we are facing with a black suit in Port Harcourt. So what do you think can be borrowed from what is obtainable in Texas to Nigeria to ensure that this menace has been addressed? Don't forget also, uh, leaders in the past have come. They had a very good, manifesto in the area of cleaning up the Niger Delta, but along the line, they failed. What do you think? Have you been able to study the successes recorded in Texas, which can be translated to our own environment to clean up, especially like the Ogoni that we all know, the oil spill in Ogoni and the rest of the communities in Niger Delta.
Thank you so much for the question. I'll try as much as possible to give a little hint about it. Is very, very, very challenging to. In fact, even when I go to Nigeria, I would not like to stay too long in Port Harcourt. In fact, this is what I advise people: if you stay in Port Harcourt, spend a little time, go out into the countryside, and take some fresh air before you come back. One of the first things I think we will do in Port Harcourt as a whole to take care of the problem already existing is to make sure we do something about health, the health situation of people right there. Okay. I think what I want us to do to make sure that everybody that stays in the vicinity of Port Harcourt has a regular medical checkup. Okay, their lungs and everything. I think they are entitled to having free medical services in Port Harcourt. That's the kind of thing I have in my heart. Okay. Now, to solve the problem, I think the governor is doing a great job now to try to stop most of the guys that are doing illegal bunkering, illegal refinery, because those illegal refinery that is polluting the air. And also, we flare up the gas. We don't flare up gas in Texas. We don't do that. This gas that we flare up in Nigeria is enough to be converted. I have a professor, I've been just going ahead of myself, who has an expertise of converting gas into electricity. And he's here, a friend of mine. So that gas that has been flared up, of course, you know a little bit about that.
Yes, we've actually, these previous governments attempted to use that gas to, fire up our turbines, like, building a lot of turbines, which some of them are not useful as I speak. We are still having,
Yes.
epileptic power supply in Nigeria because
Okay.
we don't have
The
enough
question
gas.
is, yeah, the question is, why are they not useful? Why do these people attempt these things and they don't do it? Okay. I have a particular illustration. I don't want to mention name here because the person is in power. All right. Yes. I don't want to mention name because the person is there as I talk currently, who is also who has contributed to some of the crises we have in the Niger Delta area. Is a minister as I speak. How do I know that? Because there was somebody here who was already working on, he has raised his money and was trying to, do a solar energy in the Delta area, particularly in the Niger Delta area, in order to be able to, help in the electric supply and all that with the natural, with both the turbine and also what do you call it, the solar energy. This man, who is now in government, stifled that project because he needed $300 million bribe. Okay? He needed the person that was dealing with is still alive here. I don't tell stories because if I say something I need, you call me to it, I even let me even dare to do it. Let me even dare to do it. I will tell him off because I have the facts to prove it. Okay, so these are the people that are causing problem in Nigeria. You see, the problem we have in Nigeria are caused by greedy people. People who don't think about the future of the nation. And that's one of the reasons I want to be president. I don't want to be talking and complaining and just whining. I just want to make myself available to correct things that are wrong in the country. At least some of us who are outside the country, we are not supposed to be outside if the country was good. Okay. So there's a lot of things that is happening in Nigeria that is caused by people that are greedy. Okay. I'm just giving you one example. Okay. So these are the things that makes me feel that, come on, stop sitting down complaining. Put yourself out there. All right. I don't want to stop complaining because you have things to see that annoys you. And there's no point telling God to come and solve the problem when God has put you on earth to solve the problem. There are certain things God does not do for man. Man has to do it for himself. He can
Okay,
help you.
okay, doctor. Thank you so much, doctor. I think I want to step in here
Go ahead.
to also ask one or two questions. Emma, I don't know how many questions you have because of time.
But no, I actually wanted to follow
I
up
have one.
the oil on the
Okay.
oil because I thought that was really good, especially as he's in the oil state. But
Yeah,
Reverend Livingston, I would have expected you to
Tell us.
bring in something that is very, very important
yeah,
in terms of holding somebody somewhere, and I will start with the oil companies accountable.
Okay.
So, because really speaking, what is working in this part of the world
that's right.
is about holding people accountable,
Yes.
having a legislation that is being enforced, being implemented and enforced.
Okay.
And then, of course, there is consequences. So that means somebody is going to pay or account for it.
Okay.
So if I think of it from that perspective, what I would look at, first of all, is, okay, look, you can address all the oil spillages and the gas flaring, the illegal refineries, by starting to put things in place that you can make sure that they don't exist.
Okay.
And I will address that first of all before I go even into the health, because if you do what they call stopping the harm, then you start to address the health that you're talking about before you look at the free health care. The check, well, you actually said the free health check. You didn't address, well, if they are sick, would they actually get the health care that
that is inclusive.
Okay.
Okay.
So, but it would be about addressing the issues.
Okay. Now let me help you so that we can get further. You can't do this a lot by legislation. You do it by executive order. Okay.
Okay.
Now, yes, because the reason why I will be in the best person to use executive order is because I'm from the oil producing area. Okay. So, and it's affecting my people. So you no one expect somebody from the northern part of the country or from the western part of the country or from the people that are far away to begin to agree for you to do something in the legislature because they don't feel the impact. Okay. So what I'm going to do is to find out where there are loopholes, where there are problems, and issue executive order. Okay. Okay. What affects people from issuing executive order in Nigeria is because they have their own personal interest. Okay. And so, as the president who is feeling the impact of the people, I will request and use executive order to do something. For instance, when Jaradua came into power and there was a lot of problems in the middle, he used executive order, open up amnesty program, everything, So that is the kind of power I need. And for your information, Nigerian president is very powerful. If you don't know, it's powerful. So there are things I will use executive order because I'm also from the oil producing area. I do not expect legislation in this matter.
But at the same time, you would need to be able to start to hold those companies accountable. Executive order is there, but if you cannot hold them accountable, and so that something is being enforced and implemented, then you're not getting anywhere. Sorry, David, you wanted to say something.
Yes.
Madam, thank you that you called me in.
Let me add this. Some of these accountability, it takes people to implement the accountability. Because even when you hold people accountable, the people turn around and go and give bribe to the person who is trying to hold the people accountable. Guess what they're going to do? They're going to shut up their mouth.
Make sure it doesn't happen. You see,
I will make sure it doesn't happen.
Part of the world. But are you saying that where you live, that people wouldn't want to be giving bribe and get things done? How are things done? There is a system that is actually guaranteed to work, but something is implemented in that system, enforced for it to work.
Exactly.
Okay? So don't think that only an African, which I know, has fraud and they will pay bribe. Every human being will do the same thing, but that is not happening in the Western world.
I know we can't stop it, but we can minimize it.
Dr. Livingston.
No, we cannot stop it.
Address it.
We address it, and it takes a person of integrity who himself is incorruptible to be able to address it and stand by it.
See, I understand that corruption manifests itself in a variety of ways.
It's not that these things are not there. These things are there.
Everywhere.
Yeah. Yes, but in Nigeria, people steal stupidly and senselessly.
But that is because there is a loophole for it to happen, and there is
accountability
in place.
Accountability.
Yes, absolutely.
That's why I'm saying What you need in Nigeria is a leader that will get the right people to do the right job. Okay? Because all these
Accountability.
things are there. You get the right person, you're going to put in the right place to do the right job, the country will be good.
I am beginning to like the program because the more we discuss, the more it is opening way for us to discuss other connected issues.
Yes.
Take for instance the menace of corruption is a topic
Mm.
on its own.
Sorry,
I think
Victor, your line is your volume is
Victor,
very,
your
Maybe
voice
very,
the
is
volume.
very
low.
low.
I think it's
Low.
from this. Can you hear me now?
Yes, that's a
Okay,
bit
Better.
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 okay, good.
Better.
Okay, thank you. I understand that the issue of corruption, in the course of this discussion, we've been able to identify
A
that.
little louder, 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 louder.
Okay, so we are having this conversation again,
Better,
perhaps to
better now,
address the issue of
Vic.
corruption independently. You know,
Okay.
in every facet of our country, we cannot rule out the impact, the negative impact of
Corruption.
corruption. People
Corruption.
come to
We.
power with good intention at times, but the issue of corruption will not allow uh,
We.
them to do what they
Mm.
are supposed to do. Which some of them, some of the things that come to see in power, they did not envisage that it has deepened so deep to that level. So this is a serious menace that sometimes we blame politicians with, even with good intention, we cannot do anything because the public service, public civil servants, civil service is so corrupt that they will even corrupt the politicians because they are in power, they are
Yeah,
in office for 35 good years. They know all the loopholes. So the
Yes.
politicians coming in, they are the one, but aiding these
Giving
people
them
to
information.
steal
He's
because
making points.
they know how to maneuver
That's a
the
nice one.
system to rob the
Nice
country.
one.
So I think the issue of
Nice
corruption
one.
will look at it critically again on this
Yeah,
platform.
we.
But another issue that we need to
Indeed.
look at also is the issue of terrorism, insecurity.
Hmm.
There is no day passing without innocent Nigerians being killed.
That's true.
So this is something that we need to look into.
Yeah.
The massacre, kidnapping, ritual killings, and other social vices. Too many to mention. The government of the
Boko
day,
Haram.
yeah, the government of the day actually, approached the situation with a kinetic action, which to me, today is not yielding results. And other people are calling that the government should go back to the drawing board and perhaps, deploy carrots and a stick approach to see if they can erase this problem. But I'm also not comfortable with this call because this so-called repentant terrorists or what have you, they can still find their ways into committing more havocs and crimes against humanity. What is your opinion on this? Because I cannot just see, every day you open the news, you see killings every place in all the regions. No place is safe now.
yeah,
During the last administration, Boko Haram, they were just constrained into a particular region, but now it has spread to other states, which even the politicians are afraid. Look at very recently, the governor of Borno State came to, made a very valid submission that ISWAP is more daring compared to Boko Haram. If they allow ISWAP to grow, it will
yeah,
be a major disaster to not only to Nigeria, to the entire Africa
yes,
because of their international affiliation. What
yes.
what do you think we can do differently? At least now, kinetic action did not work. Even there was a time they granted some of them amnesty, but one of the senators even called to report that, look, one of the guys that was given an amnesty is still operating as a bandit. So what do you think we can do differently to address this menace?
Okay. Well, this is what interests me and what excites me about being the president of Nigeria. That is the fact that when you are called to do something, you you will have the solution. The idea is having an insight and a solution from the realm that is higher than the natural realm. Now, let me come back to the natural. There is a doctrine, I believe, okay? And when I was going to this study in my philosophy class, you know, I was taking it lightly. I didn't know that it was preparation for this kind of. It's what I call Bush doctrine. Is that doctrine was developed after 9/11. Okay. You don't wait for the enemy to come in and attack you. You go to where the enemy is. As I'm speaking to you now, all successive American presidents operate on this doctrine. Preemptive strike. If I know you are in your house preparing to come and box me, I'll kill you in your house before you get out. And that is the principle I'm going to use. Okay?
I'm ready to kill.
We will not going to wait for you to finish your plan and execute it. It has nothing to do with modern warfare.
So it has to do
Modern
with
warfare has to
intelligence.
do with when you are making the plan, we finish you where you are making the plan. So to me, it's embarrassing for us to have all the military intelligence, all the smart people in the military, and yet we wait until the Boko Haram come into the military barracks to attack us in the military barracks. It's very shameful. So I said before, give me 1 year to 6 months when I become president. You will not hear of Boko Haram. That's it. That's all that
We
I
are
want.
now number 2 in the global
At
index,
least.
the terrorism index,
Yes.
after Afghanistan.
Yeah.
Nigeria is number 2.
Now, listen to this.
Yes.
Listen to this. Let me say this. Why Nigeria? Why West Africa? Because let me go back to when there was a slave trade and people needed to help the economy of the world. They came to Africa to pick up the train, smart, strong people. All right? So now, when there is Boko Haram, which is almost dying in almost all other parts of the world, why did they find that Nigerians are more resilient, they are stronger, and they are more daring? Now, we also know that they are Nigerians in the positive sense who are more daring, who are determined. So my responsibility as a leader is to find out Nigerians also, because these people who are working with, they are not from anywhere. They are Nigerians. Okay? So we also find out parallel Nigerians and equip them with everything they need to root them away.
Okay, Pastor Glory, you want to say something, or David?
Yes.
I think
Yes,
David was
thank you very
answering.
much. Thank you very much, everybody.
Yes.
I have 2 questions to ask our presidential hopeful. By the grace of God, I'm trusting God that this meeting will not be in vain.
Yes.
A time is coming that you will mention this network that was through this platform
Yes.
that God also used to put you on the mountaintop.
Yes.
Amen. Thank you so much, Mr. President. The question I want to ask is that because you say something here that give me 1 year and then we don't book around.
Yes.
Mr. Buhari, which is the current president, he made the same statement.
He said 6 months as
Say
a
6
general.
months,
That's true. He said 6 months.
you will not hear Boko Haram. And after 6 months, we are still hearing Boko Haram. In fact, Boko Haram had become
After 7
Boko Haram,
years.
Boko Haram had become
Yes.
Outdated.
so
Emboldened.
bad
So emboldened.
that people that finish university, they are even they are happy to even join Boko Haram so they can get wages.
Yeah.
That is how bad the country is.
Yeah.
My first question for you, sir. What will you do if you become the president of Nigeria? Your first 100 days in office. What will be your first 100 days in office project if you become the president of Nigeria?
Well, thank you very much. It's good. We're going to refer to all this. He's starting with he said, you know, you start small, a small network, but very soon you will become the network that people will refer to. This is how it started. It started small, small, small. Because of the way I am and the way I think. He always started like child's play until it become a big stuff.
Yes.
All right. So I want to tell you that what I'm saying here, I know it's like child's play, but it's going to become a big stuff.
Amen.
And I want to tell you that I'm ready for that.
Amen.
I am not going to. I'm not going to reveal to you the secret I know how to deal with Boko Haram because it's a security secret. But I want to assure you that I am not Buhari. Okay? And
He's your party man.
yes, it's my party man. Actually, I saw him handing over the government to me. And I've said that on the yeah. I saw him on the 12th of June 2019 handing over the government to me.
Glory to God.
And that is my motivation.
Amen.
All right. So, and not only that, I've seen 3 people confirm that with a different kinds of dream. I don't give dream to people, but if you have dream and come and tell me, so I believe them. So if you are in my shoe, what will you do? Will you fold your hands and sit down when people see dream about you and you also see the same dream? You will do exactly what I'm doing.
You work it out.
Yes. So the question I ask God every day is that these Boko Haram people, they don't fall from the sky. They're human beings.
They are human beings.
Okay.
They have a structure, a defined structure.
Okay. So what I need to do is to find out that whenever there is Goliath, David is hanging somewhere. All right. So my responsibility is to look for David who will deal with Goliath. I think I've answered the question.
I think David is very eager to say something, and he probably has something.
Yes,
I have a lot. I have a lot.
Please let him say something.
I have a lot in my mind because it's like
take the one after the other.
Okay, go ahead, David.
Go
ahead.
I want to say something that I'm speaking for the poor masses. I'm not speaking for I don't want to go to upper. I'm coming from the grassroots. That's why I'm crying like this, because they are the one that feels it.
Of course.
Now, this will be my last question, but I want to say something, sir. You said most of your comments you used here, you keep saying that you will not reveal. You will not reveal. It's in your heart. I don't know what is in your heart. Because at this point, when Emmanuel Macron was coming into government in France, he promised France one thing. He said France will have the best medical care in the world. And as I speak to you, that's what is running here. I don't pay €1 for my day drugs. I don't pay €1 in the hospital. It's free. I'm pointing so that's not where my question is coming, because I heard you mention they will give free medical care to Niger Delta people. So what about the Yorubas and the Igbos? They don't need it? That's not where I'm going to. I want to follow Madam. Madam said a word that touched me, and I'm going to hold her there. When I heard your conversation, you mentioned manager. I wanted to come in that manager. Madam came and elaborated in the manager, and ended up in something that was very important. She talked about accountability. Until Nigeria can account for each individual, each citizen, each one person, then there is hope in Nigeria. You said that the thing to do, you are going to use executive order. She tried to point it to you that you don't need executive order. They need to put it down on pen and paper. And that is only legislation that we can attain that. Now, I am coming in a very different way now because I'm about to ask my question now. Sir, I want to say something that integrity is very important for accountability. Integrity is very important for accountability. People that deal with accounts, they are people of integrity. And we need a president that has integrity and accountability. They walk the same path. Now, all the questions that they have thrown on you, sorry, I have to say it. All the questions that Madam have thrown, Mr. Victor have thrown, you've not given us accurate answer. And I'm a Nigerian, and I want to say I'm not pleased. So on this same platform that we are talking now, Excellent TV. Sorry, Pastor, I have to say this because it concerns me. Because when I saw you post this, I kept quiet and I said, what? I said, I have to come online. On this same television media, the media we are now, 2020, that was the period America decided. There was a program that you came online like this, and you made a pronouncement that I have not heard that was redeemed, because I'm linking it up to what is in your heart, that nobody knows what is in your heart. But I am not interested in what is in your heart now, because your foundation of all your political dreams is Bible. I don't go to church here in Europe, but I'm a Christian in Nigeria. I'm a church person because the church here is not, you don't do it like that. I don't understand the way they do it here. So I understand this. So I don't understand the Bible. When you talk to a white man here and you tell him about Bible, it's strange for him. I want to say, you came on this platform and you made a vow on this platform.
Okay.
And when I heard of your dream, I had to go to the archives of this platform, and I got a video that if you want me to play, I will play. But I want to ask you, you made a vow on this television media that you are going to support this media with some amount of money. That was 2020, which was the coronavirus period. And that was the day America was deciding. You made this vow, and this vow, a lot of people were watching as you are watching now.
Okay. Thank you
And
very much.
you did not redeem that vow.
Okay, I got your question. I want you to relax and receive my answer. Okay?
Okay, because, okay, are you going to answer me? Because I have an evidence here. Because I'm talking about accountability. I have it here.
Okay, listen now. Let me answer your question. If you ask your question,
yes, sir.
It's because you were not in the program again when I repeated, I make reference to it. Now you mentioned the word vow. You understand? I want to explain that. Let me tell you some of the reasons why I do not have to tell you how I'm going to deal with Boko Haram on the air. You cannot do that. Okay? If you have an enemy, you want to deal with the enemy, you don't go and tell them what you're going to do with them. That does not show some sense of responsibility at all. Okay? I have answered this question before because you weren't on the program. Because after you came in before, after that you disappeared. I don't know where you get to, but now you are here. You are very well welcome as a Nigerian, and you are free to ask me all the questions. Now I want to analyze the word vow and pledges with condition that I have what it takes to do that. When I make a vow about something, if you understand the word vow, the vow is that I am expecting something, and that thing comes into my hand, I will redeem my vow. Did you hear me? Say that again. Let me say it again so that you can get it next time when you are quoting me. I was saying that I'm expecting something. And when that thing comes into my hand, I will redeem it. Now, let me tell you something about me you don't know. Listen to me. I listened to you when you were saying. So it is time for you to, because when you are asking me question, you should be ready with a disposed heart to receive the answer. Okay? All right. When you don't ask me a question forming an answer of what you think I should answer. Okay, because you're asking me a question and then to answer according to the integrity of my heart. And you use the word integrity. The integrity suggests that you do not lie. Okay? All right? That's what integrity means. So I made a vow expecting something to come into my hand for me to redeem the vow. Okay? Now, when I don't have that thing come into my hand, I'm not expected to redeem the vow because the vow was contingent of something. All right?
So you're saying it was conditional?
Yes, it was contingent on something. I was expecting there was a project I was doing, expecting money to come into my hand, and I'll use that money to redeem the vow. Now, it will become false and lie and deception if I have that project, that money comes into my hand, and I refuse to redeem the vow. Okay? Does that make sense? So if you get that
No,
clear, make me understand.
no, sir, please. Okay, because I want to come in now because I'm rounding up. I'm going to do something now, and I want the world to hear this voice and what you are telling us, because French people will say la même chose. It's not the same. You are giving him another story, and I'm going to have a problem with it because I'm talking about leadership that is representing my great country. So I want to play this video.
God bless you. Best, Pastor Robert, what do you need to strengthen this platform? Thank you so much. How much money do you need to strengthen this platform? We need like $10,000. Right. To strengthen. Tell me what you do when it's out. Yes, Daddy. Tell me what you would do. What are you going to do when I give you $10,000? Yes, Daddy, we are going to get we have $10,000. We are getting small equipment so that we can go into Sky TV and stream live from the television. So the whole world will be watching. And there's a TV channel that we are going into. It's over 3 million viewers. Really? Yeah, yes, sir. Yeah, in the South Africa. You probably got it. Amen. Probably get it. Amen. Thank you. All right.
It's a long video.
What?
You said, please, madam, I am a very straight, different person. I don't play with words. Words are I don't play with it. words in your mouth. I'm very careful. I owe a man from his word. You are dealing with me, you deal with words. This video was made in the COVID season, and the dream of the host would have been to help people, because if you watch this video to the end, he got to a point that he says that people are going to be, they will be sending accounts and they will restructure some people. Now, you know, this platform is helping a lot in giving away, touching life. And you come on here, you can say things in your house, you can say things in your heart. Mary, the mother of Jesus, even Jesus said, don't say it until the Son of Man is being revealed. I'm using the word of God now. And the Bible says that Mary, when prophecies were given, they said she kept it in her heart. Mary could not say it because she did not want people to hold her by her word. And the Lord that you are, the God that pushed you to come into government, you came on media and told us that you are going to give 20. The Pastor Glory said 10,000, and you requested, you said you are giving 20. And this 20, a lot of people started inboxing. My people that I know are in this platform now, watching me. And you came to say this, and the same person that made this vow, that people are believing God that this money was have been released, and Pastor Ubong and the team might have eaten this money, did not know that this money was a wish. You don't wish the nation. Leadership don't wish. You speak your word and we hold you. I've held Malcolm very high because he said it was free health and the best, and we have it the best.
Okay.
So
Absolutely.
how can you clear this point?
Okay.
Because the only way that you can make me clear this point is for you to tell me why you made a vow and you change your vow to be a wish.
No, me.
Please, sir. Please, at this point, sir, please, I'm very sorry. At this point, sir, please, I'm very sorry to say this. At this point, we don't do offices. I don't respect the office you have held or who you are. I'm talking about the common man that will be crying in the village. I'm talking about them. I care about the office now. We call Buhari. So at this point, I can call you President Livingston. This word, why did you change your vow to a wish?
Okay.
Because I have a problem that I thought Pastor Bao should give me a part of that help. So thank you, sir.
Listen, man, you have to listen.
Thank you, sir.
Hold on, everybody.
It's my turn.
Hold on, everybody, please. In 1 second.
Macron, make a promise.
Hello,
Okay.
Mr. President, please hold on.
Excuse me, let me
Mr.
respond
President,
to him.
you respond. You respond.
Let me have
You
my
respond,
time.
Mr. President.
Let me have my time.
We are on the national TV. Hold on,
Let
Mr.
me
President.
have my time, please.
You will.
Please,
You will.
Reverend Livingston.
Let's allow Emma to say something. Then Mr. President will round up. Then
because time is going.
Yeah.
Accountability is a very important thing, but also the power of word is another thing. And we have heard that in the Bible, word, and you know this very well, was used to create the whole world. So that's powerful. But I'm not going to go into it more. I just want to point out the fact that sometime it might as well been that Reverend Livingston, you made that vow or you made that promise based or conditionally in your mind. It's good to be transparent, because if you had actually placed that, I'm going to use that word, place it conditionally, okay, then there wouldn't be, because really speaking, we would have been expected that if that A happened, then you would be able to fulfill that. But because it wasn't clear, And so maybe going forward, if you have to do, especially for the office that you are aspiring for, it would be that you could be a bit more transparent. And so that people can work with you through that transparency. And so when they actually want to hold you accountable, because people will hold you accountable for what you pledge, for what you promise. If you say you're going to do something, you need to deliver. And when you fail to deliver, people need to be able to understand by walking it back. And that would be if they can see what could have preventing you from delivering it. So it's just a learning opportunity. That's all I would say, especially for this great office that you are looking to go into. Thank you.
All right, thank you. I appreciate that. And Yokwa, I am David. I appreciate that. But I want to just make a little comment here. When Macron promised to deliver and help the people on their medical services, he was promising because it's not his money. Understand? So that application is irrelevant to that because he knows that he was promising the people money. It was not his own personal money. Macron was not a millionaire who was promising. All right? So what he's giving you for medical services is not his money. It's the money that belongs to the nation.
Yeah.
All right.
So,
resources. It's the resources that belong to the nation.
Yeah.
All right. So every answer that I'm making here in contingent in response to Nigerian economy, Nigerian issue, it's not something that you're going to use your own money because the politicians in the country are not using their own money, to do what they are doing. It's not the basic, leadership skill for them to direct the resources of the country to make sure the resources of the country that was meant for everybody is used for everybody. So that's quite a different subject. Now, coming to the question of integrity and promise, of course, the owner of the TV, Pastor Glory, understand what I'm telling you. I did say that earlier. You don't understand. I should call him my big uncle. He knows me. He knows me. Okay. When I want to do something, I get, I know that he's also in this raising money to do it. I know that. And I was expecting money. Okay. I was doing a project. I was expecting money. And I was expecting the money to come with the project. Okay. And that money didn't be a problem for me to deliver it. Now, the question would have been that if I have the money and the project that I did went through as I did, and then I refused to give the money,
How long, sir? How long?
Hold it.
How long, sir?
Yeah, hold it. Now, I have told you. Now, listen to me first. When you are asking people questions, listen to them. Okay? The project I was expecting has not gone through. Can I say that again? All right.
Yes, sir.
The project
sir, at this point, the project, sorry, sir, please, at this point, the project did not go through. I am not involved in the project as we are talking. I'm not involved. I am not there when you make this pronouncement. You did not make this pronouncement to Pastor Glory. Pastor Glory only hosted you. And you made, if you want me to play the end of this video for the viewers to watch, sir, please don't complicate issue. What I'm talking, sir, you need to clear this point of the 20 pastor. No, sir, please. How long? Is this 7 years? Is it after 7 years of 8 years of being in government?
Did I say did I give a condition?
Sir, is it after 8 years as the president of Nigeria? Sir, please, I'm asking, is it after 8 years as the president of Nigeria?
I did not make a promise. Did I deny it?
What happened? His line went
president of Nigeria. Is it after 8 years?
Okay, all right.
Sir.
I understand, Sir David.
How many
please.
years is that? Did I deny
He's
it?
still working on the project, and he has absolutely addressed the issue and has brought
So why are
in.
you asking the question when I've already answered the question?
I've explained. So I would say
No.
let's work with him. Let's work with
Okay.
him. So,
Madam, what did you say? Please, can I hear you again? Please, Pastor Glory, please. If I don't want to change the questions to you, because there are a lot of entanglement of relationship that is going on here that I don't understand in national concept, international concept here, because you our president to be is already picking you as a minister of information or a minister of accountability, as we are talking here, because I don't want to come in your own aspect now. Now I am still on the president. President, it's not all what you are telling me. You have already made a word, and you told us that it's going to be. You asked Pastor Glory. He said it's $10,000, and you told him it's $10,000. Okay. You said, okay, I'm gonna make 20.
Okay.
Now I am waiting.
What is the repetition for?
To hear the dollar, sir, please.
Okay,
sir,
David,
please.
am
Sir,
I
please.
denying
Can I
it?
just ask?
What
Sir,
is
you
the
should be
repetition?
open to
What is the
questions.
repetition
You should be
about?
open to radical questions. You are coming to
No, you
rule
are not
a
asking a
radical
question, you are
country
making a
like
statement.
today. Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
You are not
Okay.
asking
The
a
question is that when are you
You are not
redeeming the
asking a
vow?
question. You are making a statement.
When are you
Ask a
redeeming
question if
the
you are
vow,
asking a
sir?
question.
A
Ask a
question
question.
is,
You are not
when
asking a
are
question.
you delivering the vow? When are you
Okay.
giving the $20,000?
When are you?
So
Are
that
you
we
ready for
bring
the
it
answer?
online.
Are you ready for the answer?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
When the project is completed, I have the money. I will deliver what I said.
okay.
Are you satisfied with
That
that?
means it's going to be like 8 years. 8 years.
Did I tell you 8 years? Did I tell you 8 years?
No.
That is
Did I tell you 8 years?
No, I think we need to actually bring back. I am glad to hear as well that Reverend Livingston, you have you've explained, you've owned up.
I never said no.
You've owned up to that promise,
This is not the
and
first
you
time
have
I'm saying that. I never
also
said no.
clarified
Why are you asking a question?
the delay, but also that you still on point and you intend to still live to it. So that's good. I think that is good enough.
Thank you very much, Ima. Thank you very much, Dave. Reverend, thank you very much. I really appreciate.
Okay, David,
this
I have
discussion
answered that
because it
question
has to
before.
do
The question was
with
asked
integrity,
in
a lot of things to do
another
with
way. I did answer your question.
Reverend,
So
please.
now confirm the fact that David is satisfied.
I
Because David
think
has
it's
made up his
almost
mind. He's not satisfied with the answer.
Excuse me, please, Reverend. I really appreciate.
And I did not promise David. I promised the platform. So David,
please,
I did
can
not
Speak to your
promise
volume.
you.
Increase your volume.
Please, can I say something? Thank you very much,
Yes.
everyone. This is
Yes.
very important. We are on national TV. We need to also coordinate ourselves in such a way that people who are watching,
Yeah, because you
understand
answer
that
the
we are
question, I
discussing
answer, and you can go back and
something
ask the
very
same question
important
again.
here, especially
You
when
know?
it comes to when it has to do with integrity and trust. It is very important. I'm a businessman.
Good.
I understand the nitty-gritty of businesses, especially in my own line of profession. I can even get a PO for work. I can be issued a PO. But one thing leads to the other, the PO can be cancelled. If I see a PO, it's more or less like I have the fund. If I take a PO that has been issued by a renowned a client to my bank, I can draw some money from that PO, and the PO will only translate to cash when I finish the job. I sign the job acceptance certificate. Then I will wait after the invoice of the job, probably for 120 days before the money will hit my account. But because of trust, if I present that same PO to my bank, I can draw some money from the PO. It does not mean that I've done the job. So at the end of the day, if the customer find it, they cannot continue with the project and cancel the project. It simply means that I'm going to pay back what I've collected from the bank.
That's right.
I was actually expecting money, don't forget. So I can also make a vow based on that. I have PO, maybe I have PO of 10 million, 100 million. I say, okay, I can give 3 million, I can give 5 million. But along the line, if it's cancelled or it is being a contract is revoked or delayed, there are some jobs that maybe you have some dependencies from the government and all of
Yeah.
that. The job can be delayed. So it has
Thank you.
nothing to
Thank
do
you
with
very much,
integrity,
Victor.
especially if you are saying
I,
that
I want to
what
say
you have
something.
said, you are still standing by it.
I
It
want to
is
say
important
something
to clarify
before
this point. You understand? So
allow
that
that Mr.
one
President
will
to say
not be
something. Then
wrongly
we
accused
run
of
it up,
what I've
please.
been.
Yes,
I am
please.
Thank you very
actually,
much.
I
Please,
was not
let's
Thank
even
you,
run it
talking
up.
everybody.
about, I'm just saying this is a case study from my own perspective.
Yeah.
I understand
Yeah.
this can also hinder somebody from fulfilling a particular promise.
Yeah.
I think this clears the doubt and we can focus on what we wanted to. Though the time is fast spent,
Hello.
I mentioned
Yeah.
the issue of corruption that will take another time to discuss, and
Yeah.
the major issue of unemployment. The government of the day, which is my brother's party, they are saying that they just discovered now that most of the agrarian land has not been utilized. So between now to the election time is just a few months to election. We are talking of empowering people using the instruments of agriculture to empower the youth, which to me, I'm not buying into that. After spending 7 years, you are now coming to realize that we have agrarian land that has not been utilized. You want to use it to, empower the people. I think this is the
Okay.
failure that we are talking about. Sometimes you
Yes.
see something differently until when you get into the shoes. So I think the issue of unemployment will be addressed differently. The issue
Victor.
of corruption will be addressed
Okay.
differently. We'll look
Um.
at why are we having this problem? Why do
Victor.
we have to be the victim?
Victor,
Victor.
cease the fire.
In the entire
Cease
Africa?
the fire.
So I thank you very much.
Hold on. Thank you very much, Mr. President. Thank you for your time. I know you are a very busy person, but you created time for this platform, and I want to say that we don't take this for granted. God will bless you, and God will enlarge your border in Jesus' name. One of the things I
Amen.
want to say here, which I want to clarify a little, is about the issue of this network, Excellent God TV. It was created by God, formed by God, and God is a provider. You know, since we started this platform, we have not raised a dime. We have not called for offering for one day. And this platform has been a blessing to hundreds and thousands of people around the globe. The one we do publicly and the one we do secretly. By the grace of God, over 38 people right now are under our scholarship in Nigeria. School fees, house rent, etc. So we have a thing called help is on the way. And God has been our helper. I don't have any NGO from anywhere that support me. With the little token I have, with the little salary I have, I sacrifice it. Give it out to the people. I don't have a life, but my life is all about God. So what am I trying to say is that every token that we make or any vow that somebody make, and we don't pursue it. We don't depend on vow. We don't depend on promises, but we believe on what God says. You
Mm,
understand?
mm,
And I want to say here, Mr. President, because I know you are a blessed man. $5,000 is a peanut to you. $100,000 is a peanut to you because nomination form alone for you to buy, you are talking about over 40 something million naira to
mm.
contest for primary of your party. So, and I believe that you are more than that. God has blessed you, have a lot of property in America, and so $10,000, it shouldn't be something that will be dragging on social media. Yeah, you are more than that. The car you drive is more than that. Your wife is more than that. Your children is more than that. So whatever would takes anyhow you can redeem that shame and take it out. If you
Yes.
can't redeem it, just let us know. We can strike it
He's
out.
still there.
Just
He's still there.
strike it.
Yeah. Yeah, we can strike it out. If
Okay,
you know you can't redeem
thank
it
you.
within the next 2 months, we
Thank
will
you.
strike it out because I don't want the
If
issue
you can
that each time.
strike it.
Hold on a second, David. Hold on a second, David. Yeah, you understand. I don't want the issue that when I bring you to my TV channel, people will be comment from everybody who's like, that man that cannot read it, but what is he doing here? So it is very important that people will take you by your word. Your word, your word can make you, and your word can melt you. This small thing can even disqualify you to be a president of Nigeria.
No.
Let me say this. I understand this.
Yes.
Let me make a comment. I heard what you're saying. Let me look at the word shame and disgrace. Okay, let's look at the word shame and disgrace. All right. So because we look at the word shame and disgrace, you need to really understand what you're saying. Well, if these disqualify me from being the president of Nigeria, understand, I did not have it as an ambition. It is not an ambition. Okay? I say that again. I'm saying on the national, I do not have an ambition to be a Nigerian president. I have a calling to be a Nigerian president. I want you to make that clear. I want to make that very clear to all those who are. I do not have an ambition to be Nigerian president. I have a calling to be a Nigerian president. And that's why as I'm talking to you now, people are preparing to buy the ticket for me. You understand? They've given me an instruction, don't bother about buying the ticket, we will buy the ticket for you. So I want to make it clear that I did not grow up in Equita planning to be the president of Nigeria. I was minding my business. So if you understand anything about calling, you need to understand there's a calling. So if these disqualify me from being the president, well, it means I was not even qualified in the first place. But I want to say it is God who called people and qualified them. The reason why you are making this an issue is that I have said this before on this platform, and I keep reading it again. All right? I keep saying it again. If you keep reading it again, I have the same answer. Okay? The question is, I have made a promise, call it a promise, make it a commitment. And it was contingent of something I was expecting to happen. And if that thing happened...
Hello, Reverend. Let me come in there quickly.
I want to clarify that.
No, you have already cleared that.
And this is not the first time I'm answering this question.
Yes, sir. I want to say this before the national, before everybody.
Everybody, this is the wall.
From now on, no more vow. Reverend, your vow has been cancelled. Okay?
Better.
I don't want you to think about it. We are bigger than that. Okay? So we don't want these issues that each time you come, we talk about it. Today is a new day. Vow, strike out. We don't need a dime from you.
But you can make a donation in future. Yeah, you can make a donation.
You can make
Madam,
any donation want to make, give it to charity. We don't need it.
Yes.
We don't need it.
Madam, if you say it's going to make a donation in the future, this is what is keeping Nigeria where we are today. We are in Nigeria because of the donation, the future plans. They said they are going to do this, and 4 years is past. This is 2020 when this made. This is 2022. It's not redeemed. And you are now telling me the project is still going on. That means we are going to stay for 8 years in the office as a president, and we're still hopeful. I am not in an awful Nigeria. I am not hopeful again. We need a man that can stand by his word and make sure he delivers this job. At this point, sir, I am with your of the program. They are so devout, viewers all over the world, because this is not viewers in Facebook. Viewers all over the world, the vow that was made has been cancelled and has been confirmed by the host. So we don't he doesn't owe us anything, and we don't owe him anything. So you don't request, you don't come into my inbox to write me if we are staying in abroad to scam people in Africa. The man that gave the word have withdrawn his word. He says he was wishing. So let's wish for another 8 years of doom Nigeria. Let's wish for a man that will come and be giving us wishes all through the world. And you come with wish, and you are in America, a Western world. Can you do wishes in America, sir? How will you come with wish to Nigerians? The poor people in the country, they are coming to wish us another 8 years of doom. Sir, at this point, I want to tell you, it's high time we check who calls us, if it was a network or is an angel from somewhere, because I don't think most of us that we claim that God called us to do a thing, we come to blaspheme the name of the Lord. I'm not comfortable with this. He says his word and it comes to pass.
Okay, all right. I think Pastor Glory, we are well over 9:30. I mean, it's supposed we were supposed to wrap.
You're running up, woman of God. Then we close. Thank you very much.
I didn't get that. What did you say?
Yeah, I said when you finish running up, then we close.
Okay, I want to say that it's been a very engaging evening. I have to say the discussions were something that we need to be in continuous discussion, and it is something that it is at the forefront of whosoever needs to lead Nigeria, or in fact in any leadership. So I will say, let the show run, and the points that were made were very valid. While it has ended in somehow a bit of a negative way, however, it has brought itself back into positivity, because I like the fact that we are closing in a way that it is not expected, or well, we will not have the same conversation again. So in terms of the expectation, so that is good in itself. So I would say well done. It's a good channel. It's a great opportunity for discussion. Please continue with it.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate all the contribution. This is our learning curve. We cannot rule out the fact, just like Reverend Livingston always said, that experience is not the best teacher. So we are faced with different challenge every day. We are in a dynamic world, so we learn from whatever that happened within the system. So I appreciate your time, and it has been an interesting discussion. So most of these things that we have discussed, a lot of people are learning from it.
Of course.
The major objective here is to create awareness. It's not about an individual aspiration or what have you. The most important thing is the awareness. Because I mentioned something in the last session that we had, that in those days, people, the elite class, were not having just one voting power in the electoral process. So they were classified to have higher votes than the downtrodden citizens. But for the fact that in democracy we are all entitled to one vote, so these elites seem to be keeping the uninformed people under darkness so that they can use them to manipulate the voting process. So by sending inducement here and there just to get their own votes. So this program is all about awareness, creating that awareness, and sharing the impact of some of these things that they go through in the name of voting or supporting someone blindly, maybe because of sentiment, regional sentiment, and all of that. So we are more of this is a national program. So we'll continue to do our best. We'll continue to improve. We'll continue to align our content with the best
and highlight analysis. Yes.
I strongly believe we'll get there. It's a learning curve anyway. Thank you very much.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you, Reverend.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you so much. I'm happy to meet Madam. Excuse me. I want to say my own farewell, please. I'm an action person, so let me be nice now. Thank you so much for meeting you. Madam, it's always good when you have a woman in the house.
That's true.
It's always good when you have a woman in the house. because there's this softness that you have given to this discussion. I love that. I hope you one day. President to be. I am behind you. I'm behind you.
Good.
But why I'm throwing those questions to you, I'm throwing things that there are bombs that must come to you.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a personal grievance. I don't need it. I'm okay. I don't need it. But I was just apt to tell you the truth because I'm a very blunt person.
Yes.
And so I appreciate the television media. Oh, Pastor Glory, this is lovely. I hope we could bring other dignitaries and let them come and speak here. This is an amazing one. Thank you so much. I love you. Love from France.
Yes, so
Okay.
bye.
All right. Before
Bye.
you get off, David, get off.
Yes, sir.
Well, if I'm preparing to be the president of Nigeria, I must be prepared for everything.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
I want to say that I'm prepared for it. I'm prepared for anybody to challenge me.
Of course, it's
all right.
necessary.
If you don't have anything clear, you have to clarify.
Yeah.
All right. So I want to say I appreciate you. I appreciate every one of us, and I believe I'm going to get there. All right.
We are behind you.
I know that. I don't know. You don't hate me before you said that. I know you are preparing me and sharpening me for people outside there that are going to face me with
Minister of Action.
Challenge my integrity.
Minister of Action.
I welcome that. Okay. I want to say I appreciate you. I don't hold this personally against you because I don't think you were asking about yourself. You were responding to everything that was around you. So I want to say I appreciate you and answer. I appreciate all your upfront, your uprightness. I'm ready for everything. All right. I say you are more or less preparing me for what I'm going to face out there. So
Indeed.
Thank you very much. And God bless you.
It's a pleasure to have you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Mr. Victor. That's nice from you. Madam,
thank you so much for your
I'm
comment.
happy to meet you guys. Bye.
Nice to meet you.
God bless you.
Thank
God
you.
bless you. God bless you. Thank you very much, everybody.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
All right.
Okay, we have come to the end of the program, and I believe that was you have enjoyed the meeting. We are talking about who to lead Nigeria in 2023. Sorry for all the mix-up. It's a presidential race, so all the background check we have to deal with it. When you are attending a certain high office, there will always be a background check, character-wise, promises, vow, project that you have not fulfilled. So when you are going for election is like people will, open your back your back home and bring out some dirty stuff. And I'm gonna bring up the Victor once again. Victor, I'm bringing you on because we are. I'm bringing you out so that we can have a little dialogue together before we close. Let's also speak about our state, Akwa Ibom State.
Okay.
Before we go, even for 5 minutes, you are aware that our governor Udom has anointed he has anointed governor already.
Yes.
What do you have to say about that? Is that the people will or his own choice? Because when we talk about our state, this is our own state, our Akwa Ibom state, and I read on the newspaper that Udom, Governor Emmanuel Udom, has anointed a pastor, a priest that will succeed him? Is that a personal affair, or do we have to have election in Akwa Ibom State, or should we abide by his endorsement? What do you have to say about that before we go?
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you very much, Pastor Glory. I'm a very blunt
Your
person.
volume is very low. I can't hear
Okay,
you.
thank you very much. I'm a very blunt person when it comes to saying the
Okay.
truth to the power that be. You know, the issue of endorsement has not been a new thing. It has always been the practice in our by our politicians, which
Yeah.
to me, if we have an election that is free, fair, and credible, we are all entitled to one vote, irrespective of who endorses who. So to me, that is immaterial. Let the election be free and fair. The people
Yeah.
will decide who will govern the states. That is the most important thing. I don't always want to undermine or counter the position of someone coming to say that God has spoken to me. We've heard that severally in our polity. Politicians will say he heard it from God and all of that. We've been
Yeah.
having that. So I wouldn't want to go into that because God has not spoken to me. Also, I'm a stakeholder in the state as far as
Yeah.
I'm it's an indigene of Akwa Ibom State. So I'm automatically a leader in my own rights. So
Yeah.
God has not spoken to me who will become the governor of my state yet. So I
Okay.
cannot rely on what somebody said God told him. So I think God has other channels. He can also reveal himself to other people. But in the context of principle, we understand that if our electoral system is free, fair, the process is very clear, nobody will be talking about endorsing anybody.
That's true.
You allow everybody the level playing ground for everybody to, air their aspiration. It
Mm.
is left for the people to decide who will govern them, which
Mm.
is very important. So to me, it's just a wish. He's wishing that this person who should is the right person to succeed him. I understand that he has the instrument of the state. He has the instrument of the state at his disposal. He
Yeah.
can use that to, influence a lot of decisions around
Yeah.
who succeeds him and all. But let's just look at the grassroots. Who will be the people that will vote? If you talk of the ruling class, they are the minority in terms of number.
Yeah.
So the ruling class are actually the minority in terms of number. The real voters are the grassroots. So these are the people that will decide. And I also understand the fact that there are a lot of grievances in the states. We have three major ethnic groups in Akwa Ibom State. A particular ethnic group, which I happens to be from that area, is being
Yeah.
denied of testing the position of leadership at the state level. But that is actually a topic for another day because this thing did not just come to play. It was people from the region that deprived their own people the right to become the governor. So this is another question. But in terms of endorsing who, to me, is immaterial. People will decide who govern them if the electoral process is clear, free, and fair. I think that's my position in this regard.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
So we will look forward by the grace of God in the next 3 weeks to come. I think we will have one of the governorship aspirants. We have spoken to one of the should I call it a friend to the governor, one of the governor to be in Akwa Ibom State, the guy that is also running for aspiring to be, to run or to contest for governorship of Akwa Ibom State. So in the next 3 weeks from now, we will also have him on the live here on the Excellent God TV network to also hear from him and his own view as well. Thank you so much, Mr. Victor Richwatch, for having time. I know you are always a very busy person, but you create time to be with us on this platform. And I want to say that we don't take this for granted. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for
It's a
coming,
pleasure. It's
and
my
we look
pleasure.
forward to see you one of these days live here on in the Republic of Ireland. God
Thank
bless
you
you.
very much. Thank you very
Thank you.
much. All right.
Thank you. Okay, viewers, we have come to the end of this program. Thank you. Tomorrow is service. I'm trusting God that the power of God will move tomorrow in the way you have never felt before, you have never heard. I'm bringing the word of God tomorrow live on this platform, and I want you to get ready. Join us by 5 p.m. tomorrow. It will be a life changing encounter in God's presence. Tomorrow, God told me it's going to be a healing service. If you are sick, get ready. The power of God will hit you tomorrow like never before. Get ready to be healed. Listen, an expectation faith is a healing ground for a miracle. Help has come your way. In Jesus' mighty name, I pray. Good night and God bless you.
I'll put you in front of my melody. You are all that matters. You are all that matters. I'll make room for two. You and I, Jesus. You are all that matters. You are all that matters. Always, always. 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 What would I live for if I don't have you in my life? What would I gain if you take the Holy Ghost? What would have become of me if I didn't see your light? What would have been said of me if you didn't hold my hand? And now I've come to realize that you are all I have. You are all that matters. You are all that matters. I'll put you in front of my melody. You are all that matters.